Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from Lifting Pins and Needles, and I have been away for a teeny tiny bit. It doesn't mean I haven't been sewing, it's just life, you know. Turns out I can sew faster than I can edit. I have so much footage backed up, and editing has just been a bit overwhelming in the last week or so, just because of family things and other commitments going on. But don't worry, there are going to be lots of videos coming up because I have lots of makes to show you. So for this one, I want to show you a really special top I've been wanting to make over a year now, I think. I've been seeing pictures on my Instagram. Yeah, I just love it because it's just a different top. It's not just your normal top. As you might know, I live in Brazil, and up until maybe 10 days ago, it was very hot, just as hot as always, you know. I was having my afternoon naps just lying on the bed without any covers, and now it's just dropped so low. Like, I think at night temperatures are reaching 6 degrees Celsius, which is about 42 or 40, I'm not sure about Fahrenheit, but quite lower than what I'm accustomed to. So I had to source myself some sort of 3/4 length shirts because that's my preferred length. So here is my top. This is the Wanted Tee by Vanessa Pouzet, or how you pronounce it, I'm not sure. I made mine a little bit more cropped. I think I took off 4 centimeters of the length of the top, and that's just something I chose to do after I'd finished it. It's quite a slim fit. I did make the largest size available, which is a 48. I chose to make it large, just the largest there was, because I didn't want it to be like, you know, that compressive. So it's nice and snug, and it's fine. It's the way I would want it to fit. This square neckline is really beautiful, and it's just like basically doing 2 V necklines, one on each side, the technique. So I have filmed this neck thing for you, and that's what's coming up next. So I'm doing a voiceover now. Here I am going to attach the short little band that goes in the middle of your neck, you know, the square at the bottom, to the longer band that goes all the way up your chest and around your neck. So there's 2 bands, a long one and a short one, and I'm attaching the short one to the long one on both sides. So there's that little shape there that you have to pivot carefully using a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Now in the middle of that little V thing, you need to do a really precise snip up to the sewing line, but not through it. So I've done that on both sides. You can see I've snipped on both, and now this is going to allow me to fold it over and get that little really nice corner there. Now I'm going to attach the side seams there, shoulder seams I mean. I always say side when I mean shoulders. Here I've folded the band wrong sides together, so I've folded it together, and I'm snipping those little excess fabrics that form there on both sides. I've pinned them there together so they're nice and precise, and I've pinned them onto my top now, onto my neckline. So that's the short part, the front part of the neckband, that's pinned to the corner there of the bodice. See, I've pinned that there on the corner on both sides. So I've started sewing on one of these corners. I've left my strands hanging there. I didn't reinforce, and I'm going to go all the way up the chest, you know, like your chest area, around the back of your neck, and then all the way down your chest again. So if you can imagine me like climbing a mountain on one side of the neckline at the bottom, going up the chest, around the back of the neck, and then back down my chest on the other side. Carefully pinning, going through shoulder seams, making sure that the shoulder seams are going to the back of my body, taking pins as I go. I have made this image a bit faster than real life, but in real life it took me about 2 minutes to do this. You see I do slow down when I go over shoulder seams, just to make sure that the seam inside doesn't go the wrong way. And now as I am reaching the other corner of that square, I'm going to go really slowly. You can see I've pinned it there. As I'm reaching that little pivot point, I am not going to pivot. I'm going to just sew right up to that little corner where the stitch line is, and you can see a close-up there. So I've basically sewn all the neckband, but the middle bit there is still flapping around. So on the inside of the bodice there, you can see that strand is hanging. Just leave it there. I'm going to snip, you know, up to where I'm going to sew, but not through it. And that is going to allow me to pivot that neckband and finish sewing it nice and precisely there on that corner. You can see that I can have really good control of the fabric there. Now I always want to sew with this part facing up towards me so I can see what I'm doing. I'm leaving the neckband underneath. You can see the neckband is shorter than the bodice, and that's normal because that's going to allow it not to gape. You can see there it is a bit shorter, and you just have to stretch it out as you go. So there I am going to put my needle exactly in that corner, and I'm not going to reinforce that stitch. I'm leaving threads hanging there, and as I stitch, I'm stretching out the little bodice just slightly so that it matches the neckband. So this is a short little piece of sewing. It's just the bottom of that square, and I'm making my way over to the other corner there where I've also snipped the fabric, and I need to get to that corner, making sure the excess fabric on my left is manipulated, that it won't get caught under the needle, so it won't have any puckers on your visible side. So when I get there to that specific corner, I just leave those threads hanging loose. You can see now that when I turn it under, look at all these long threads hanging off. That's fine. And look at that corner there, how it turned out. Cool. So very easy, easier than I thought it was going to be. From the inside, I'm going to show you how that looks like there. That's my overlocking there. But if you noted, whenever I reached that pivot point, I wouldn't actually pivot with the machine. I would actually stop there and just leave loose strands. And then I'd start again, you know, with the needle on the point and start all over again and leave loose strands. That is the way I got this part to turn out really precise, this corner, because I was able to manipulate the fabric there perfectly so I wouldn't get any puckers or anything like that. So yeah, that is the technique I would recommend. You see on the inside, that bit there, it has a snip up to the line, but up to the sewing line, but not through it. You can see how the fabric stretches there. So by starting there and sewing that way and then starting again, I was able to get that really nice, crisp, square, mitered corner. So yeah, really nice. Other than the neckline being a little bit different, all the rest of the top is super, super simple. The sleeves fit in nicely. It's just a really nice top. I'll show you some pictures now. Cool. So I think this neckline is really flattering. I'm always on the lookout for necklines that just have this part uncovered. One, for heat reasons, another because I like the aesthetic of like a scoop or a square. Now that I have this pattern, I don't think I'm going to be making scoops like soon because I'm so in love with this neckline. So I have already cut out a wanted dress. So I've done a hack where well, I'll show you that later in the end of the month makes video. I'll show you that. I haven't sewn it yet, but I have cut it out and I'm really, really excited about that. So it's just like this, but without the sleeves and lengthened above the knee, you know. So I hope this was useful. I really love this top. Let me know if you would consider making a square neckline, because it's just really, really flattering. If you look at the hashtag on Instagram, I think it's by Wanted Tee or Tee Wanted, you find so many. Now, if I wanted to make this out of a thinner fabric, because this is like a Liverpool knit, it's thicker, more structured. If I wanted to make it out of like a rayon spandex or ITY or something, I would leave the pattern as normal up to the bust, and then I would flare it out a little bit, you know, out. I don't think with thinner knits you can wear them that close to your body without showing everything you don't want the world to see. So in the future, if I do make one that's out of a thinner knit, I'll definitely flare it out a little bit over the waist and hips, so it just like skims your figure, not hugs it like this one does. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Bye, see you soon.